Pry open your third eye with me, your big-headed know-it-all, polymath Scott Spackey, and guests. Change your mind, change your life. Full episodes, services, knowledge, and all you'll ever need on scottspackey.com and life-mind.com. Are you ready?
Find me where the ocean collides with the sun.
Welcome to, or welcome back to, Pry Open Your Third Eye podcast with me, your host and polymath, Scott Spackey, and as usual is executive producer, Chloe, is joining us.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. And so we're doing this whole New Year's resolution revolution. This segment today is going to be with the guests. We've already had a few already. And so we're going to keep those kind of separate. We're going to produce this podcast, and so the sections will be separate with the guests, each one having their own New Year's resolution. And so, who is our guest today?
Our upcoming guest is Omkar. I think he's about 30 or so, and he's from or living in Austin, Texas, and he works as a solar engineer.
Do you know what that is?
I assume it might have something to do with solar panels.
Well, obviously. But I'm just wondering, does he, anyway, yeah, we'll find out, I guess, or maybe we won't,
Sure.
I don't know. So, I'm familiar with Omkar. I know him a little bit. I've talked to him before. I can tell you this about him. He is very, very smart, very sharp-witted. And here's the thing. I've never seen him and Aziz Ansari in the same place at the same time. Do you know Aziz Ansari, the comedian? So I've never seen them both at the same time, same place, same time, because Omkar is very funny. He has a very sharp wit. However, his humor can be a little bit sophomoric at times. Sometimes it's right there and I love it. Sometimes he's kind of sophomoric and he kind of enjoys that. Just to let you know, I have talked to him before. Right. He and I are both on the same spiritual path as Bhakti Yogis. And so we kind of know each other from that. And we've talked about some things in the past. And he's a fun guy. And he's very sharp and very clever. And yeah, let's find out. And so... yeah, let's find out exactly what a solar engineer does, or should we even bother with that? I mean, that really isn't that. I mean, we always talk about like where people are from, what they do, and it's like, you know, that's one of the things I usually skip over, like chit chat conversation. For me, I'm not that interested. And I can tell you this, I kind of know a little bit about what he does. The reason I don't know much more is because even though I know him a little bit, it's because when he explains it, I am so bored to tears so quickly, I don't even bother listening. It's really, he works on a computer and he designs solar systems for companies, for like big buildings. So it is kind of, I'm sure it's fascinating to do, it's not really fascinating to talk about. That's pretty much what it is. I'm pretty sure what he does is he designs solar power systems for like business buildings and offices. So when you want to switch, if you in an office building, you want to switch your power from electrical to solar, then you hire his firm, and that's what they do. And so he's a guy that's on there, like designing this and putting it all together on a computer.
Glad we have him to do that.
But again, it is really cool. It's a great thing to do, and I'm sure it's great to do. But it's not really a fun thing to talk about. So, so let's not get him started. Let's not encourage him to get started on that. So I have no idea what his resolution is. Do you? What is he going to talk about today? Okay. So
No, I don't.
That's kind of the fun for me. I told you before that I used to tour with the Project Addiction series of books and the video course. I used to tour with bookstores and do workshops and recovery centers and also radio programs. And I used to tour as my alter ego, the Habit Master. And the Habit Master, so the whole thing about the radio programs is people could call in and the whole thing was stump the Habit Master. If you have a habit that you can run by the Habit Master and you can stump me and I can't figure out a solution for you within 3 minutes, then you get something for free. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do on the radio. So it's kind of nice for me as a counselor and as an advisor. I like it when I don't always know what people are going to talk about, what their problems are. It kind of surprises me, catches me off guard. Because honestly, most of it for me is kind of a walk in the park I'm very familiar with. So everybody has their habits. And it's like smoking, weight loss, getting fit, all very important things. I'm not downbeating that at all. I'm simply saying that for me as a counselor, I deal with that every day, so it gets a little tedious, you know. So every once in a while, somebody surprises me, and I'm not saying he's going to. I have no idea what he's going to have either. Excuse me. So let me get a sip of water here. Let's go ahead and invite him on. I'm going to click on here. Mr. Omkar, are you there?
Hey, yeah.
Hi, Omkar. I'm Chloe. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Chloe, nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yes.
Good audio. We got some good sound here. So, Omkar, I gave a little introduction saying that I think that I'm suspicious. I said that you're very smart and you're very clever, and I like to use the word clever, especially for you. Clever fits. Clever is not necessarily always a flattery, it's a little bit of both. So, and I said that I never see you and Aziz Ansari in the same place at the same time. And take that as a compliment because obviously I love him. I think he's very sharp and very funny. And again, so I think that your humor, you're a very funny guy. You like to tell a lot of jokes, and your humor is, I would say, it's very witty and very sharp. But I also caution Chloe and everybody else here that it also can be at times sophomoric.
Yeah, well, I'm locked and loaded too, so watch out.
You wait, maybe it's the first time I ever opened a comment for you. But you ain't the first person here. So anyway, obviously I'm very curious. You are going to think of one or two resolutions that you had in mind to present here that we could talk about today. So what are they? Or do you want to tell me anything about yourself? And by the way, I simply said that how old are you? Are you 30?
I am 31.
You live in Austin, Texas, and you're a solar engineer?
Something like that, sure.
Okay. Moving on. So, would you like to share with me what your New Year's resolution is going to be?
To be entirely honest, I've only had 2 New Year's resolutions that I've ever stuck with, and those were pretty big ones. But aside from that, I didn't really have any New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolution is always a time of reflection for me, so I'll definitely try to double down on good habits and, if not break bad habits, at least try to lessen their grip on me.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about, you said you've had resolutions in the past. Did you succeed at holding them? Did you keep them? Have you ever had resolutions that you made that you didn't keep?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've only had 2 New Year's resolutions, like I will do this or I will not do this, that I've really ever kept, and that was never having sex with an ex-girlfriend and not smoking cigarettes again, both of which I kept.
Good for you.
Clearly,
Boy,
those are very important.
Those are about as different from each other as they can possibly be. Yeah, I didn't know you ever smoked cigarettes. You used to smoke cigarettes?
Dude, I started smoking cigarettes when I was like 12.
So
When did you quit?
So you made a resolution when you were 12 years old to stop smoking?
No, I made a resolution when I was like 22 or 23.
So and you started smoking when you were 12?
Yeah.
Am I hearing this correct? Did you say you just started smoking when you were 12 and you quit when you were in your 20s?
Yeah.
I am very surprised at that. That's surprising.
Get it out of the way early.
So you made that resolution and you kept it.
Sure did.
Okay, and the other one was not having sex with an ex-girlfriend, which is always a wise idea. And once you break up, that's it. It's over. Put it away. Put it behind you.
That's right.
And when was that one?
That was like a year before that. So maybe when I was like 2 or 3 years before that, when I was like maybe 20, 21 or something like that.
So it's been a long time since you haven't made a New Year's resolution since then? You never have a new one?
I do not.
Why not? What are you, perfect?
Like I said, it's not more about like particular like things that I do or do not do. It's more about like doubling down on good habits that I already know about. I don't know.
So would you say that you're really focused on self-improvement? What is it? So let me give you an idea. And so basically the few people that I've had on this program so far, I asked them to think of 2. One that was more kind of basic, fundamental self-improvement, fitness, get exercise, watch your diet, those kind of things, and then something more deep and personal. And for so far, one of them was about creative expression, finding her voice, so to speak. Another one was to implement and start to add in a more spiritual practices into her life. And so again, I'm going to ask you the same kind of thing. So is this one, what you're thinking about is more general self-improvement types of things to be a better Omkar?
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of them relate to sadhana, right? So, and we can get into that. I don't know like how much the viewers, you or Chloe, really want to touch on that, but yeah, a lot of it's really
I will elaborate on that briefly. Okay, so Omkar and I are both Bhakti yogis, and we're within the same tradition of Rasic Bhakti Yoga. I like to say yoga, I don't say yoga because that's the true pronunciation. And so we're both Bhakti yogis in the Rasic tradition, and sadhana is the Sanskrit word for spiritual practice. So what you do, the things you do for your spiritual growth and your progress as part of your sadhana. So just so people know what that term means. So going forward, we can just use it as comfortably as we want. The three of us understand it. We all kind of use it too. So there you go. Once again, we have a consistent theme going here with the guest that we always want, everyone has a set of self-improvement things they want to address, whether it's quit smoking, get in shape, watch their diet, whatever it may be, and then also something that is more personal, more intimate about their personal development and growth on a less material level. And I think that's, again, seeing this theme is refreshing to me. I like to see that theme because, you know, what we see generally in the world so much is that people are just focused on their material selves and their worldly self and the worldly kind of dense issues that life demands from us. And so it's always refreshing to hear that people are focused on and want more from their spiritual side of life. So which one do you want to go with? So are you saying just general self-improvement? I mean you join me as a guest on a podcast for the New Year's resolution revolution is the topic. So I was hoping you were going to present me with a New Year's resolution that I could help you kind of solve and design a strategy to be able to succeed at it.
Did you tell me about this beforehand? You definitely did, didn't you?
I absolutely did. Yeah. It was pretty clear.
Well, I don't.
And not only that, Omkar, but I also texted you and said, hey, and I said, don't tell me what it is. Surprise me. And I said to you, why don't you try to think of two? One that's more fun. This exact thing that I just... So yeah, and I can bring up the text if you want. So yeah, we talked about it a little bit. And I said to you, if you don't know, if you don't have anything that you're already set on, make it up. Hello?
Did we lose him?
Hey, sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So you know, I mean, we all have, I don't care who you are, we're not perfect. And so, and as I always mention, that part of my motto, part of my creed for within my solution programs is if change were as simple as making up our minds, we'd all be perfect. We already know what we want to be. We already know what we should be. We already know how to do it mostly. But none of us are perfect. And so therefore, again, pick something. All of us have something that we are not satisfied with, something that we're not content with, something that we wish could be better about and with. So for you, what would that be, Omkar?
Something that are not content with and we wish to be better. There's a lot of things, right? But I think I'd probably, maybe want to pay closer attention to my diet, in particular getting a nice, clean-cut physique, which has been eluding me despite how much I work out.
Huh, interesting. And listen, I can sympathize because I work out and have for many, many years. I'm very much in shape. I'm very fit. I'm very strong. I have a very good fitness routine. It has been for years and years and years. And yet, I'm not one of those lean, cut guys. I'm not fat in any way, but I'm not one of these guys that has very well-defined muscles that you can just see automatically. And I always kind of wanted that. And and I got to tell you, and it's frustrating because the more you work out, you're thinking like, why aren't I getting all cut like that? And it has to do, Omkar, with body type. Like my son, for example, he's a very lean kind of guy. That's just kind of how he's born. That's how he's built. Right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, the thing is, like, everyone can get like that. They just have to starve themselves to a point where the fat goes away, right? I mean, like, calories in, calories out.
That's just, so yeah, you and I might have to starve ourselves to get lean like that. And again, someone like Brandon, he doesn't have to do that at all.
No. You would have to starve yourself.
Whoa, baby. Hey, you know what? I have a hang-up button here. I might accidentally hit it. But yeah, I'm just saying that, again, it's nothing to do with body type. It's like my mom. My mom was a very large person. She ate very frugally. She ate very healthy. Wow. Okay? Yeah,
my mom just called your mom fat.
I did not. I said she was a lot.
Throw her under the bus, why don't you?
She wasn't just large. She was fat. She was fat, man. She was fat. And the thing is, she was kind of born that way. She's born big. I know a lot of people that way. And again, Brandon is kind of born lean. He's kind of born muscular, and I'm not designed that way. So we do have to stay within the parameters of how we're kind of DNA genetically built. And so, but I get your feeling, man, that you work out all the time. Why can't it produce this like lean cut look that you want? The sculpted look, right?
Yeah.
So do you have a resolution that you want to do something different to maybe make that to improve that area?
Sure. I mean, I usually fast on Mondays and Thursdays. And so, so like in general, there's a lot of nuance to it, but in general, the way you reduce fat, it's all about calories in, calories out, in a very, simplified terms. But obviously, if you work out more, you have more muscle, you burn more calories just being, obviously, fatty foods, processed foods have more calories. So if you cut them out and eat more, vegetables, grains, dairy, etc., it's easier to, you reduce your calorie intake. So in general, what I'm trying to do with fasting and with a more strict diet, particularly not of I think a lot of people have different ways of coping with stress. My way of coping with stress, honestly, for a long time has been just to stuff my face with good food. I mean, it's a good thing.
So
it's not as bad as other things people do.
Yeah, if I may, the clients that I've had over the years, and I've had a lot of people that come to me for weight loss, and generally the majority of them, that's their defect, is that they cope with stress by eating. And so the majority of the people, not all of them, but the majority of the people that came to me over the years for weight loss, that was their problem, is that when they were depressed, angry, or stressed out, that was their go-to kind of medication, is to eat.
Yeah. Yep.
It's an instinct, and here's the thing. I'll give you a little psychology on that. When we feel anxious, depressed, whatever it may be, any kind of negative emotion, we obviously want to feel better. That's a natural, we want to feel good and stop feeling bad. That's natural, that's designed within us. And when we can't, when we are powerless to stop that, let's say, for example, your dog got old and died. You can't reverse that, and obviously eating isn't going to solve that, or doing drugs or anything else either. But since we feel and define it subconsciously as well as consciously as we are helpless, I cannot change this. And so I want to make things better. And so our mind automatically, on a kind of a default mechanism, automatically reverts to finding some kind of pleasure with this subtle inference that if this will make me feel good, this will make my problems go away. That's the coping mechanism. That's how it works. Is the brain and mind simply want something to make us feel good. And obviously the consequence is worse, because now we have the same problem we had, and now we also are getting fat and eating stuff that we shouldn't eat and feeling bad about it. So we're compounding the problem.
I don't feel bad about it. In fact, I feel great about it. But just that, and to be clear, I'm not fat. I'm actually probably pretty normal, probably below compared to a lot of Americans. I'm definitely below average body fat. So it's not like I'm eating this and be like, what did I just do? After a huge binge session.
Then
it's
why do you
not
want to change
that.
it?
It's very moderate, but I still need to
moderate overall, but by your standards, it's excessive.
No. In fact, I think it's totally fine, but even by my own standards. But the thing is, going from, so right now, for reference, I'm about 15 to 16% body fat. If you Google that, that's where you're not overly fat, you don't have anything sticking out, you don't have anything flabbing around. But to get to where I want to go is probably 12%, which is not where every single muscle is defined, I don't know, say a runner or NBA player, but definitely where everything is scooped in a bit.
So what do you need to do, do you think, to achieve this?
I just need to eat less, honestly. That's literally it.
So basically less input, less intake.
Less intake, yeah. So I can probably
so,
still
and
have
it's not
foods, just
so maybe, right. So it's not the quality or the diet, it's the quantity.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. And it doesn't sound like a lot. It sounds like a rather moderation to your diet, to the quantity of intake of your diet would be enough to solve it. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. As we've been learning through these other sessions and through the initial part of this resolution, the science of it is that I remind people, I'll bring you back to that point that I make in the very beginning, which is that how the mind defines pleasure and pain. It's designed to avoid pain and to pursue pleasure, and that's that. But what it defines as pleasure is that which is familiar. And again, this is where it comes back to, if change were as simple as making up our minds, we'd all be perfect. We already know what we need to do. And why do we somehow not follow through with the things that we know we should do, we say we want to do? because our subconscious mind, who's in charge of so 80%, 88% of our decision making, is saying, yeah, but I'm familiar with this, and so therefore this is what I do. So when you already know that you need less food intake, less quantity intake, and yet it still persists, there's that blockage in our thinking where it's like, I know what this is, and yet we're going ahead and doing it anyway. So what needs to change? What is it that needs to change for you to keep that commitment that you already know what to do? You already know you need less intake. So how much less? Are we talking, I mean, could you count the bites? Could you count the calories? Can you quantify that?
Yeah, I think so. So I guess I don't think there's a problem when I cook my own food. I really don't. I'm usually able to make just enough. I think the problem usually comes if I eat out. When you're eating out, you don't really know which kind of oils they're using. You don't know a lot about like what food is made, and so it's easy to overload. And especially usually when I eat out, it's in the spirit of like enjoyment because I'm not like eating out casually.
Yeah, you're not eating for fuel. You're eating for pleasure.
Sure, yeah. So I think at those times, rather than just being like, okay, well, I think it's time to eat, I could rather maybe like split the meal that I already have in half.
Right. Right. Let's pause for about 40 seconds so I can share something very cool with you. Change your mind and change your life. Break bad habits, solve addictions from alcohol to ecstasy, shopping to sex. Solve anxiety, depression, confidence, and motivation. Find direction and purpose. Life is bright when it is good and we are living to our potential. Life is long and dull when our potential remains dormant. Your potential and purpose are already inside you and waiting for you. It doesn't need to be created. It needs to be uncovered and revealed. My services include live counseling, video courses, books, and mentoring through email and text. Visit scottspacky.com for your options. Let's get started. Are you ready?
Ahead of time, by the way, and just keep it like to go or whatever it is, and eat, and then for the rest of the time.
Let me ask you. What you said was very, very key. I want people to understand this. When you said split it in half ahead of time, okay? Now that's very important. I know why you're doing that. Why don't you share and tell why you think it's important to split it in half or reduce the portion with whatever it's going to be, whether it's half or just a small amount. When you reduce the portion, you're doing that at the start. Why is that?
Because I know once I start eating, two things will happen. A, I'll love it, and B, I won't feel that. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of the times when you eat out, it's not the greatest food. And a lot of like quote-unquote tasty food is like very calorie dense, but at the same time, it doesn't satiate your hunger. So
that's right.
If you eat half of it, like I'm not like full. I'm not even half full, but you actually just ate like 1,500 calories. Your brain will keep on telling you eat more, even though like logically you may know that you just ate a lot.
Do you know why that is?
Yeah, I do. A lot of it has to do with fiber. A lot of it has to do with protein.
Let me, if I may add to that. So the main problem is because, and I'm sure as I mentioned it, it's going to clue right in, that because what happens is this, it takes approximately 20 minutes for the signal to travel from your body to your brain. So the part of your brain that's loving the food, enjoying it, and feels feels so-called hungry, it's giving you the signals that I want to eat. And so when it's content, it takes almost 20 minutes for that signal to travel through your bloodstreams and all that to tell your brain, I'm content, I'm okay. So by the time we feel full, we've already been full. We're over full. By the time we feel content and are aware of it, we've already passed that point. So yeah, when you set it aside, you're preempting it. You're saying you're setting up a system where it's like, I'm not going to tempt myself. I'm going to remove this now. And so listen, in my weight loss program, this is exactly what my clients are instructed to do. To eat the same meals you always have. That's fine. I'm not going to make you go cold turkey, even if you have a bad diet, with many people that come to me do. They have a very bad diet. But what I say is, in the beginning, I want you to take 1/4 or 1/3 off of your plate. Make your exact same meal that you always make. And then once it's done, take 1/4 or 1/3 of that off the plate and throw it in the trash. They're like, wait a minute, throw it in the trash? That's such a waste. I said, yes. Now you're going to feel bad about it. Now you're going to feel the realization that this whole thing is a bad system, that I've got to improve it. So over time, you'll just make less. But for now, to get it going, to reprogram, right when you put that plate in front of you, take that portion, a third or a fourth of it, and throw it away. Make the same thing and throw it away. Because again, you're right. What people will do is they'll say, well, I'm going to eat less. I'm not going to eat the whole thing. But they have that plate in front of them. That's right. They're already sabotaged. They set it up to sabotage themselves. The only way, because they're already, when you get right down to it, they already know that they're not going to have the willpower once they get going to stop on their own. And now you know that. You already know. You say, you know what? I'm gonna address this before I even sit down. I'm not going to put it in front of me. That's the preemptive strike. So yeah, it takes 20 minutes for our signal to travel from our body into our brain to tell us when we're full or when we're not. And so this is the major cause of obesity is just that. People keep eating after they're done. Now, you and I being yogis, and you also do Ashtanga yoga, and you do a lot of other yoga practices as well, we're both well trained in the sattvic lifestyle and sattvic diets and all those kind of things. And again, what's the general rule of thumb in the Vedas is it says when you eat, when you're finished eating, your belly should be 1/3 full of food, 1/3 full of water, 1/3 full of air. Right?
Right. Empty. Yeah.
Yeah, empty. So and so you should do that whether you feel it or not. And so you stop before you feel full. You get when you have 1/3 of it empty. So yeah, when I start to feel I stop when I'm eating before I ever feel content or full, because I already know that in a few minutes I'm going to feel that way. I can see visually that I've had a bit of food. That's probably enough. So why not, before I go and finish the rest that's on my plate, why not set it aside for a minute and see where I feel?
It's a trick I use with my 4.5-year-old.
Right?
When she's asking for more food or something else, I say, well, why don't we just wait maybe 5 minutes even? Just a little bit of time.
Does that trigger a tantrum?
No, not always. I mean,
not always. Well,
yeah.
Can I give you a little bit on something like that? Instead of saying let's wait, simply say, okay, hold on a second. I got to make it seem like you're doing something, so that you're taking care of it right away.
Oh yeah.
Right. That way she doesn't feel like, because the moment you say no to a child, that's when the tantrum comes. Doesn't matter if they really want it or not. When you say no, that's when they're gonna resist. You know. So
That's
yeah,
very
just
true,
say okay.
yes.
I'll get right on it. Just give me a minute.
She holds me to that.
Well, yeah. But there you go. But as you move
But
on,
yes, it does help.
Yeah, then she'll realize she's not that hungry after all. You know?
Yeah, and she'll change her mind and she'll decide, oh wow, okay, I guess you were right, Mom. I don't want this.
Yeah. We need to fool our brain, and that's what I'm teaching in these solutions about how to control and manage habits and replace them with good ones, is to trick our brain. And notice I say brain, not mind. Our mind, we don't need to trick or fool. We need to listen to our mind. Our brain works on chemical signals, electrical impulses. It's simply a circuit board. And so we need we can't ignore it. We simply need to work around it. We need to understand how it works so we can work around the circuitry that's there. And that's what we're doing. That's what you're doing when you're taking that portion off your plate as you sit down or just before. You're removing the temptation.
Omkar, are you fasting for 2 days a week in support of this goal you have, or is that something you're already doing?
I've been fasting on Mondays and Thursdays for a long time now. Not to lose weight, just as a kind of digestive reset. I think there's been a lot of recent studies on the benefits of a coined term named intermittent fasting, is when you don't have food for a set number of hours, anywhere between like 12, 18, some people do the whole day, just as like a good digestive reset, and your body kind of cleans itself, microscopically speaking. So that's kind of why I've been doing that.
So
It must work for you then. Does it work? Obviously, you feel good after fasting, and you feel like your body is, if you continue to do it.
Yeah. Well, skipping a meal is tough, and always has been tough for me, to be entirely honest. But the morning after, I do find that I get a lot better sleep. I need less sleep to feel energetic, and in the morning, I'm typically not as hungry as I would be in a normal morning. So that's kind of, I guess, interesting to think about.
Yeah, and that's again ties into what I remind people when they're looking for their motivation, how to commit to a new change and how to deprive themselves or deal with the feelings of deprivation during as they change behaviors. Is that don't think of the before or during, think of the after effect. And so, and I gave that example that when I was first relearning to walk and be able to run after my accident, and it was terrifying. I mean, I never enjoyed running. I've always hated running to begin with. And so, but I needed to do this for several reasons, my physical therapy, etc. But I never liked running even before my accident. And so I could not think about putting on my shoes and going on a run. Before or during, I would totally block it out and live in denial. I'd be like doing stuff, putting on my shoes, getting ready to go out for my little run or whatever. But I wouldn't be thinking, I'd be thinking about all kinds of other stuff. And while I was doing it, I'd think about all kinds of other stuff. And I was running on the beach, so it was kind of nice. I had good scenery. I would just block it all out. Because otherwise, if I focus or even allow myself to think about what I'm experiencing, which is clomp after clomp of my foot falls and trudging along and barely and almost falling over because my balance was so bad from my accident and all this kind of, I'm miserable. I'm hating every moment. And so that 15-minute run felt like it would have been 2 hours of just the whole time just going, oh my God, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, going on and on and on. Instead, I block it all out. And as you said, when you wake up in the morning, that's when you have perspective. It's like, when I would get done with the run, I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking proud of myself. I did it, and it's done. I can't go back and undo it. I did it. And then all the good feelings and endorphins would come in and rush in and give me the reward. So I try to remind people, don't focus on what you got to do or while you're doing it. Focus on how you're going to feel when you're done. If you don't do it, which will feel bad, and think of how you'll feel if you do it, which will feel accomplished and good. Find your motivation in that. Anticipate. Rather than focus on what I'm going to do, which I'm not going to enjoy, I'm going to think about, you know what? How am I going to feel when I'm done? If I don't do it, I'm going to feel bad. So that motivates me to do it. To buckle down and get it done. But I know I'm going to feel good when I do it, so that's going to motivate me and get me through and get me out the door.
Just some positive reinforcement all around.
Well, and again, it's very tricky though, because again, we're often taught like the Zen mentality that we should be in the moment and enjoy what we're doing. I'm sorry, but fuck that. I don't enjoy washing the dishes or doing a bunch of chores that I don't personally enjoy. So I'm not going to sit there and so when I'm washing the dishes, do you think I'm sitting like a Zen master focusing on washing the dishes? I'm not. I get my mind wander. I don't want to sit there and think about focusing on washing the dishes because I don't enjoy it. And again, same with running. Now, when it comes to tennis, I love tennis. I can be out there all day. I mean, I play every day. And while I'm doing it, I'm focusing on it. That's why I do it, because it puts me in a Zen moment where I'm actually in the moment and in the action itself. I'm one with it, But the other kind of things, nope, I don't really want to be there. So we can use we trick the mind. We kind of work around it. We use the way that it functions to our favor because it's always kind of sabotaging us in many of the ways that it's designed. So we learn how to work along with it, work around it. We fool it. You got to trick it.
I use that technique when of not allowing myself to think about something. In particular, I had a challenging neighbor that I would kind of get obsessed about, thinking about dealing with. And she left for a little while, and when she came back, I told myself I wasn't allowed to think about it. And every time I started wandering off thinking about her, I would be, oh, you're not allowed to do this. And just
But how do you stop yourself from thinking about it? How do you stop? Oh, replace it. Right. Now,
replace it.
I remember you sharing this with me sometime in the past, and I gave you a little magic trick. Did you ever do that?
The freezer?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. But she didn't go away.
Right. No, it wasn't about making them go away, but what it does is it somewhat neutralized them. So did you see some effect?
It did at the time.
Okay.
I think not immediately, no. And immediately I was even more obsessed with like thinking about then this trick and it being like, well, it's not working.
Would you like to go ahead and share real quick what it was I advised you when you had this problem with this neighbor? She was really causing you a lot of problems. You weren't just obsessive.
Oh, it's continued, by the way.
Right, and I know, but what is it that I advised you to do when you were having some problems with again, you couldn't stop her and you can't now. But what you want to do is to try to liberate your mind from being over attached to it.
That's very true. I mean, we're all gonna be and do what we're gonna do, and my issue had to do with me being very attached to, almost being codependent with her, and changing my really literally tiptoeing around my home in fear of this person. And you suggested that I take, I think I took her name, something like her
Yeah, 'cause
name
you
something
didn't-
of hers.
You didn't have anything personally of hers, like a
Yeah.
hat or any kind of like voodoo type of thing. You could do voodoo with. So you didn't have any.
I took her phone number and her
Okay.
name,
Ah,
and I
that's
wrote
cool.
it down on a piece of paper, and I buried it in my freezer, and I froze it.
So
That was
this
your
is
trick?
yeah. This is kind of an old, ancient, mystical. Well, it can't be too ancient because we're talking freezer. We're talking about electricity. But yeah, when you put something in the freezer, it magically can kind of neutralize. That's kind of it's kind of like a ceremonial act where what you're doing, and even if let's just say that it's not really doing anything in the physical world at all. Maybe it's your own psychology. What does it matter? The bottom line is this ritual, whether it's a placebo or actual, the bottom line is it's having an effect on your detachment from it, and that's all that matters. And it's kind of fun, you know.
I found the piece of paper when I cleaned out my freezer months later,
Where is
and
it now?
I think that at the time she had moved away, and I was like, oh.
See now,
Yes, it worked.
how can you doubt whether the freezer trick worked when she moved away, for God's sakes?
Because she came back.
Well, I know, but
She
Do
never
you-
actually left. She just
bottom line is you
You
put
know.
her name and number in the freezer, and you got to neutralize for a little bit.
yeah, I think, it's obviously it's an ongoing issue that challenges me in a handful of ways. So I try to take it, to learn from it instead of just
Well, I hereby declare a New Year's resolution for me. I'm going to take several of these online. I don't know. They got a whole bunch of like vendors and shit that just irritate the hell, and I'm going to put them in the freezer. I got to use my own medicine.
There you go.
Let's get back to our guest Omkar here. Omkar, so how do you feel about? Yeah, I think that again, the nice thing is, as I talk about my own resolution or my lack thereof, is because it's not about, as you're saying, we're very similar in this way. I don't need to add a whole bunch of new behaviors. I want to sustain and maintain the ones that I already have. I already have a healthy lifestyle. So it wasn't built on resolution necessarily. It kind of was. I mean, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change. And over time, you get a collection of better lifestyle, better habits, you know? And so the modification that you want to make seem relatively moderate and simple and small. They're not like you're having to rewrite your entire life over. And so it sounds like something you can do. So what I encourage you to do, if you're not already doing this, is to do it just like that. As I said, quantitatively. What's the quantity on this? Put some numbers to it. As you said, when you sit down to eat, take a portion and decide what that portion is. Literally a fourth, a third, or whatever. Take that portion and set it aside. And I agree. In the beginning, again, when I'm talking about overweight people, then I have them throw it away because I'm trying to associate, create a negative association with the entire behavior. Okay, which is why I had the smoking cessation session with someone. I said that when you're going to cut your cigarettes in half and you're going to throw away the rest of them in the trash, not buy them, because you're trying to create a negative association with a certain behavior so that your subconscious mind rebels against the negative association. So you get the subconscious mind working for you instead of against you. So just that, the date, the time, the quantity, Omkar, I hope you will do exactly that. Set down a formula. Write it down. Write it down, put it in front of you, whatever, so you actually have not a vague and ambiguous method or quantity about this thing, but something that's very well defined. What do you think?
Maybe.
Oh my God. I'm sure you wish you could have that kind of effect on me, but sorry, you can't. I'm sure you can definitely irritate me, but no, I don't think so. So, well, that's good. I'm glad that, and again, what we're talking about is some kind of regular maintenance, and that's an opportunity for me to share within this New Year's Resolution Revolution series of episodes that, again, as I talked in the beginning about my own resolutions or the lack thereof, I've worked hard to establish a healthy lifestyle. And so I don't need to change things, but want to keep them going. And that's just it. What we want to do is install, create, stabilize a very healthy lifestyle that's routine for us. And again, all of our habits created by one basic, simple formula: repetition and association. We do something over and over again, and we associate it in a good way. We find pleasure from it, so therefore it becomes a habit. We can't change that. That's how the mind works, repetition and association. And so by simply modifying a behavior till it also gets repeated and associated, because as you said, when you do this, you feel good about it. You know how you're going to feel, and you're going to feel good about it, and you do. Then you're creating a good association with a new behavior to encourage it, stabilize it, to own it, get the results that you want. And that also ties in with what you just said, Chloe, about we want immediate results, and we're not going to get them. And we've got to have that in our mind. We can't, that's the whole thing about bad habits. We have them because they give us instant results. That's why bad habits get created, because they give instant results. Fast food, sure, quick, easy, cheap, but obviously proportionally bad for you. So, but eating healthy and exercising and all that, yeah, we got to put in the time, then we got to wait to see the results. As you said about getting cut and losing weight and getting trim and lean, you got to work your ass off. You got to cut your diet, and then you got to wait. You got to keep this going in spite of not seeing the results. It's hard to keep the motivation up, you know? You got to manufacture that motivation.
Yeah, for sure. We're an immediate gratification society, individuals. It's how our brain works. Seems like we got a lot kind of going against us. How do you maintain when you're feeling low motivation like that?
Yeah, again, I think we need to. This is the advantage of having a human mind rather than an animalistic mind. Animals have to live in the moment. We get to think. We get to time travel. We can remember the past and anticipate the future. How am I going to feel? How have I felt in the past? Animals have very short-sightedness with this. As human beings, we get to do that at will. And so we need to tap into this resource, this capacity that we have to be able to think of how we're going to feel and how we felt in the past. To be able to put that in context, to make that fresh and remind ourselves how it's actually going to feel. Notice, as we talk about with people on this program, that I've been saying, I don't want you to just hear what you're saying. I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. Feel your resolution. Feel your commitment on an emotional level, on a personal level, on an intimate level. Because that's when everything that we do is driven, again, by desires, by our emotions. And with no emotion behind things, we're not that committed. Again, I can do the dishes, I can take out the trash, I can do my chores without much emotion there, but those are just mechanical actions. To do something that is meaningful, something that's good for me, or something that has purpose, that I have to be emotionally invested. To write, to create, do something that I enjoy, I want to be emotionally invested in that. Again, to do regular chores around the house, I don't really want my emotions involved at all. Because my emotions are involved, they're going to be like, well, I hate this sucks. So yeah, we want to be able to, and again, what we can do as with human consciousness is we can choose how to associate with something. Again, we can't automatically take the option to not enjoy something. If it tastes good, feels good, smells good, feels good, etc., then we're going to experience that. But what we can do is reframe the association. Yes, this tastes good, but it's also bad for me. Having a little guilt while you're eating the donut is a good thing. Having no guilt or no conscience about eating the donut, that's not a good thing. That's not healthy. You should have some consciousness about it. Every once in a while, sure, it is an indulgence, sure, but to not have any mindfulness of that at all, that's not healthy. This is the capacity that we have that we get to tap into. Omkar, you got any thoughts on this?
No, I don't.
Any other resolution ideas? You mentioned something about your sadhana too. Do you want to mention that? Just generally. What is it you... Yeah, just generally. I mean, you can get detailed if you want to, but I understand it can be very personal. Our spiritual ambitions can be very personal and private, and I respect that. But just general, and again, everyone can learn from us. Whatever we're doing right, people can learn from that and get motivated and inspired by that. But also, when we share things that we're doing wrong, I mean, honestly, as a counselor, I'd say my clients over the years have benefited not just the way that I changed my life and made changes in my life, but because I share intimately and in detail the things that I did wrong that led me to those conclusions. So they can avoid those mistakes by not repeating the ones that I did. Learn from my mistakes. Don't just learn from yours. Let me save you some time. You can learn from mine. So again, anything that you, as a rather advanced, spiritually committed man, anything that you can offer on that idea that you want to improve or change could inspire people.
Yeah. Geez, put me on the spot, why don't you?
You bet.
Well, I don't don't know. I just feel like the whole New Year's resolution idea, I mean, it's nice, but like, in terms of my spiritual things, I feel like I get the desire, I have the desire to improve like every day. So like, it's not like a yearly renewal thing. I don't feel that fresh like renewal, like new year, new me feeling. At least when it comes to my like sadhana. So it's almost like it's a daily thing. Like I need to do this, I need to do this, or I need to remember this rather, and I need to remember that. So I mean,
So what can you do, or what area of your spiritual lifestyle do you feel needs attention?
probably, I mean, there's a lot, but I'd say probably just finding like a quiet time, quiet moment to do some like breathing, abhe breathing, you know, on the in and out. Definitely focusing on the exhalation to activate that parasympathetic nervous system, you know. But definitely just finding time to do that alone, just because of its like physiological and psychological benefits.
May I offer you, I mean, it's going to sound very elementary. When you say finding time, because this is something that catch my attention, because I hear people saying this all the time. I heard somebody say it just yesterday about finding time for spiritual growth and practices, finding time. And we can't find the time. We're all so busy. We all got so many things to do. And when we're doing something to do, part of what I'm doing is not doing anything. I need to do that sometimes because it's healthy. And so it's really about making the time. And that's partly what I was imparting to this woman the other day, is that you can't find the time. And you certainly can't allow it to come to you and wait for it, because it'll never come. There's always more crap we got to do, more stuff we got to address, more chores, more errands, more obligations. And so, yeah, we got to make the time. We have to rob, steal, thieve, take. We got to take the time. When I say take, I mean steal. I mean theft. Because if we don't take it, we don't get it. We need the discipline.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So, yeah, what can you do, to not just make the time, but to take the time? And I think it's going to sound very elementary and crude, but I think that's because that's what it needs, is that it's simply, I'm going to set this time of the day to do this practice, whether it's working out, meditation, or whatever it may be. This is when I'm going to do this. And unless the house is on fire, then that's what I'm doing. Unless there is an earthquake or some kind of disaster, that's what I'm doing. It's not going to be replaced because I don't feel like I have the time. I'm never going to have the time. We're always going to have more obligations. So to commit to it and say, at this time and on this date, these days and these times of the week, that's what I'm going to be doing. Mm-hmm. Omkar?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
As a specialist, I realize that what we say and how we say it is manifestations within our subconscious. It's part of the formula of how our subconscious mind is reframing things for us. So we need to take that power back. And so indeed, to articulate to ourselves and to our own mind, to tell it, I'm using these words with these contexts and I'm not letting you choose them for me. I'm changing them. So we can change the way that we understand them. Mm-hmm. Why do you feel you need to? I know this is going to be kind of a stupid question, but I want to hear your answer, because I think many people can resonate with this. Why do you need? Do you think? Why is it? No, not why do you need to. Why do you feel it is important to improve your spiritual practices and lifestyle?
It's the goal of life.
See, I chuckle too. Somebody asked me, I'm kind of like, what do you mean? Why? Like, that's all there is. But again, for people that don't quite yet know that, maybe, why is that important?
Well, I just said it's the goal of life.
So you feel it is the paramount thing to do, that it takes precedence over all others.
It doesn't always take precedence, but it usually takes precedence.
Or maybe it should.
In an overarching way, it takes precedence. How about that?
Yeah, what we've learned as spiritual beings especially is that it can't be a hobby. Hobbies are things that we use to pass the time. If we want to improve, change, grow, and expand who and what we are, it can't be a hobby. You got to put in the work, right?
Mm-hmm. The goal of life.
Yeah, I like it. It is the goal of life. But again, that's not the case for everybody. Everybody has different goals in life, and I'm not going to tell them what there should or shouldn't be. But I will encourage people to find out what that is. For me personally, and it seems for Omkar as well, and I think for you as well, Chloe, that for us personally, our primary ambition is to become more evolved and develop spirituality. But again, I'm not going to force it on anybody else. But whatever that is, so people need to know is what is it that's driving you? And if you don't know, then you got to figure it out, because if you don't know what it is, then you're being driven by desires and impulses. Anyway, so let's go ahead and wrap things up here. Any questions, comments, any advice, Omkar? Any final thoughts? Give us something inspiring for the new year, man.
Geez, I have many things. Inspirational is not one. Yeah, I just say don't give up. I don't know.
You know what? That sounds so elementary and basic. Again, this whole Nike Just Do It thing. It's an ad campaign. It's just a slogan, but it says a lot. I mean, it's like carpe diem, and I came up with, and I added to that carpe noctis, carpe omnia. Seize the day, seize the night, seize everything. Why not all of it? I don't just seize the day.
Wow, incredible.
So I think by you saying that, I think that is inspiring. Again, we need to simplify. We need to kind of trim it down and keep it nice and simplified.
Hey man, seize the day, all right? Carpe diem, bro.
That's right. Carpe noctis. Carpe omnia.
Make a dirty joke, but I'm not going to go there.
Well, why not? It's a podcast. We can say what we want. If it's funny,
dude,
say it.
this is like a mini session. Are you kidding me?
If it's funny, say it.
Ugh. What?
If it's funny, say it.
It's really funny, but I'm sure it'd go right over your head.
Well, now you got to do it. Now you got to try me. Let's see. Maybe. What I hear when we're saying it's going to go over my head, but that sounds like code for it's not. It isn't that funny, and it's not going to make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's all out there now. You got to do it now. So blurt it out, man. What is it?
How about no?
Hey, you're right. It went way over my head. I don't get it. All right.
Well, thanks for coming on, Omkar, and chatting about resolutions, and you are inspirational. I think that you're very aware of yourself and what it is that it takes to accomplish your goals, and to get informed, to feel empowered, and then to apply it. And I think that's an inspiration, because a lot of us struggle with these things.
I agree. I think that what you demonstrated, what you shared today, is that you're not just taking it on surface value. You're doing the work. You're putting in the time to look into and figure out the knowledge that you need, and the motivation, all those things that you want and need to be able to make things that are different. Congratulations, good for you, and best of luck to you, man, on your new 2026 new year.
Thanks, man. New year, new me. Just wait and see.
All right, man. See you another time.
Thanks for having me on.
Bye. All right. So there's Omkar. Chloe, any thoughts? We can talk about him behind his back now. He's not even on the air. He can't even hear us.
No, that was great. I'm glad to have, like I said, I really appreciated that, he's clearly already done most of the work, and he's not really thinking of these things as unattainable. And I totally agree. I'm not a big New Year's resolution person, because it holds this sort of this energy about it that includes failure, I think. And so to really stick to something and to choose it not for the sake of social expression and like, oh, what's your resolution, but to really look inward and and I agree with him on the daily self-evolvement. It's not a one-time-a-year thing, but I latch on to the things that are going on in our calendar year as a means to help me to transform.
Right? Yeah, it's just another way to try and reinforce it. Yes, we should, and as you've been seeing and hearing throughout every guest that we've had, I'm automatically saying, even in the middle of what they're resolving to do, why wait? If you want to do this, it's a good idea, then why wait till New Year's? Start now. If you want to do it, why would you wait? And so I agree with that. But there was a time for most of us that, again, I'm going to start my diet on Sunday. And I'm like, why on Sunday? If it's a good idea, why don't you start it now? Why do you want to wait? And because we want to get our last indulgences in. We want to get those last attempts in. We want to maybe talk ourselves out of it. Who knows what. But I think, again, as you said, though, but to tap into the consciousness, to be able to tap into this theme of it's New Year's resolution time, like, and again, it's a placebo effect. This idea, the concept that this has more power to it. And again, the placebo effect is fine if it whatever works, you know. And I think that's what resolutions are all about. Is it gives people the opportunity to do things and commit to things that maybe they wouldn't have ordinarily. And it's kind of like Thanksgiving and holidays. Thanksgiving, people gather around, they have a meal, and then they all talk about what they're thankful for. Well, we should be thankful every day, all the time. Why should we wait till Thanksgiving, you know? But we don't always. So this is an opportunity to kind of refresh that and kind of make it more poignant for us, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, we need to take advantage of those themes, those momentums, those opportunities that put it into our consciousness up front, you know?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we are lazy, man. We are lazy. We got so much shit going on all the time, all of us. So much going on to think about, so much. And I know I do. I mean, the biggest blockage to us committing to good habits and good changes in our lives is simply because we're too busy. And again, this is what I'm hearing nonstop from callers on this show, as well as in my practice. I'm just too busy. Why haven't you done this before? I'm just too busy. I'm going to make the time. I'm going to find the time. I'm like, no, you better take the time.
We're leading up to the holidays. I am so busy, just like every other person. Right. And I have found that there are times I'm constantly spinning the plates and measuring what is most important right now. And sometimes it's sitting down and getting gifts and writing cards. And sometimes it's playing Candyland with my 4-year-old.
Right. That's right. And that's hard to commit to because it's like, I don't have time for this. I can't play children. I got work I got to do.
Yeah. And I literally take it and commit myself to this is important.
That's
Today
right.
I need to be here.
And like a New Year's resolution, if you have it etched down and written down on your calendar, whether it's a phantom or literally a piece of paper, a commitment that says at 2 o'clock I play Candyland. Shut the phone off, close the door, turn off the computer. I play Candyland. That's at 2 o'clock. That's what I'm doing. Nothing else. It makes us make that commitment. It makes us get that discipline that we need, and that's where the advantage is. And so, yeah, I don't really need a New Year's resolution to be able to make changes. If they're a good idea, I would have done them. And that's, again, what we talked about in this early session, the very beginning that started this whole series, is, I'm not going to refresh it here and now, but that mentality that if it was a good idea for me, the reason I'm not making a lot of New Year's resolutions because it's not my first day in life. If it's a good idea, I've already been addressed it some time ago. But again, everybody's on different levels of that. Some people are young. Some people have they're just realizing that something isn't good for them. They want to make change. So we got to tap into that, and that's what this show is for. That's what this series is for, to help people that don't necessarily quite get that yet, and they're still trying to evolve that and develop that ability. You know. And
no matter how evolved we are in certain areas, we are incredibly immature in others.
That is gospel. Listen, yeah, I can be great at some things. I'm a master at many things, but there's a few things that I am absolutely suck at and terrible at and don't want to do and don't ever want to. I'm very strong in many areas, but there's a couple areas that I'm incredibly weak and stupid in. And again, it's different for everybody. I mean, my son he's a firefighter. He's a hero. He's a dedicated guy. He just got a promotion and a new job assignment. He's going to go what's called a hot spot for more fires and more work to do. And yet to get Brandon, to get him to pay attention to his bills and sit down and pay his bills, not going to happen. And it's not because he doesn't want to. He just he doesn't think in that way. He doesn't think with money. He doesn't think that way. He thinks this other way. He can problem solve, put out fires and save lives and make it up on the spot, spontaneous. But to plan ahead and manage his money properly, can't do it, you know?
I get that.
And there I was, a polymath since I was young, very smart, very advanced intellectually, blah, blah, blah. Yet I was so goddamn stupid, I did a bunch of drugs.
Yeah.
That's just dumb. Really, that's just dumb. I mean, I am in all these advanced classes doing all this great cerebral stuff with my mind, and it's like, well, yeah, but I am also a lying, cheating scoundrel, doing drugs, doing all kinds of stupid, reckless shit. You know? How smart is that guy?
Yeah.
There were some really dumb people living way smarter than I was.
Yeah.
It's very relative to who and what you are, you know? And that's just what this is about, is to find your weakness. Find the thing that you need to change for you. And how can you do that to fit you? You can't, again, simply make up your mind and make it different and be perfect. It's, I know this is correct. What is it about this, about me, that when I know this is a better way to live, what is it about me that prevents me from seeing that or doing this in this one particular area? So let's find our weak spots. You know, let's focus on them. All right, well, let's wrap this one up, and we'll be wrapping up this whole series here pretty quick.
Awesome. Thanks for listening today.
Until next time, leave your third eye open. Full episodes, services, knowledge, and all you'll ever need on scottspacky.com and life-mind.com.
Ocean collides with the sun.
Spiritual development and training services. Just like a fitness trainer, I teach and coach my students how to become spiritually fit and healthy, how to meditate, spiritual practices and exercises, mystical modalities like tarot, the I Ching, astrology, numerology, and Kabbalah, spiritual study, spiritual lifestyle. Private and customized training designed to fit your spiritual goals, path, or religion. Don't know which path to follow? Join me for a free consultation to discuss your spiritual goals and aspirations, and I will help design a course of study, training, and practices for you. Whether you seek enlightenment, an afterlife, or psychic and intuitive abilities, sample the power of prayer, church, meditation, astral travel, or anything your spirit yearns for. Expand your mind, expand your spirit. Visit scottspacky.com for more information. Your illumination awaits. Are you ready?